The Happy Warrior Podcast. Conservative commentary on the news of the day from a more positive perspective.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is the Happy Warrior Podcast with me, your host, the Happy Warrior, also known as Peter the Vaughn Pischke. Unfortunately, we still don't have Robert Mehling with us. I decided to record this on a Tuesday, now that I have a bit more time after getting my master's project completed. I get the opportunity to attend a big family get-together tomorrow, so I wanted to get this podcast for the first half of the week done and out of the way. That's not to say that I don't immensely enjoy recording these episodes and talking with you, my audience, fans, and fellows. But my family has always taken center stage in my life, and I would encourage anyone that gets to listen to this podcast to do the same. Family's important. When we're all long dead, gone and buried, 100 years from now, people are not going to remember most of us, but the legacies we leave behind in our families is what will still be around. So make sure that you show love to everybody and let your family know that they're important to you. This was a PSA from me, Peter Pischke. Alright, now let's get this shindig started. When I ended my podcast last week, it was on the news that James Gunn, the prolific writer and director for the Guardians of the Galaxy series, as well as producer on the newest Avengers movie, and possibly thought to be a helm runner of the Marvel movie series one day, he got fired. It was dug up that in his past he had written some really nasty jokes, tweets, messages, and just vile humor that some I can read here, but most of it I feel it's too just crazy, too offensive, too gross, too indecent to be able to share it with you, my audience. Now, for an example of the awful things that he said, I'm just going to read a few. So the first one was a tweet. He says, quote, "I like when little boys touch me in my silly place," unquote. Another said, "The best thing about being raped is when you're done being raped, and it's like, woo, this feels great, not being raped," unquote. There were also comments about the 9/11 attacks. There were comments about AIDS, jokes about the Holocaust. A really disturbing one is where he shares a story about a monkey, for lack of a better word, sexually assaulting a young child. And in his commentary, he frequently says that this joke makes him extremely happy. And it's just really gross. I went ahead and I read it. I also looked up a collection of all these tweets that he said, and wow, they are bad. They are really, really, really bad. So as of last week, when I learned this news about James Gunn's firing, I felt mixed. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. They are so funny. They're going to be classics for decades to come. The direction is just astounding. I love it. I love these series. James Gunn took a very obscure Marvel comic that almost no one knew about and made it relevant. And made it just as relevant as Spider-Man, Iron Man, and the rest. That's impressive. If you watch those movies, I mean, they're good. They're really good. And you have to give the man credit. So then you ask yourself, does James Gunn's work with Disney protect him from his past, where he was just a terrible sense of humor? And after reading this out and studying in my mind and reading lots of editorials on the subject, I have decided that we should give James Gunn a break. And here's my explanation as of why. Most of the tweets, messages, and jokes are 8 years to 10 years or even older. They are disgusting. And in 2012, James Gunn even came out and said that he was astonished and deeply saddened by the kind of humor he was using at the time. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out that the Guardians of the Galaxy movies didn't start coming into production after 2012. Ergo, Disney's PR people, after doing their thorough research, and they always do when working with a director on a big project like this, knew exactly about his history and the stupid humor he was using. Gunn even now apologizes and tries to tell us that he's improved and matured as a person. I want to take Mr. Gunn at his word. Everyone has a chance to grow and learn and change. The person I was 10 years ago The person I was back when I was in high school is different than the person I was now. In the United States of America, we come from Christian roots. Some of the very strongest stories in the Christian religion are about forgiveness, atonement, and change. This was a revolutionary idea when it came out over 2,000 years ago. It seems to me that Mr. Gunn really has changed and wants to be a better person than he used to be. If we repent of our sins, recount them publicly, and give them up and never to return to them again, shouldn't that be enough, at least in the world of entertainment and speech? And what is acceptable humor in its day won't necessarily be acceptable humor 10 years later. Back when I was in high school, my friends would tell bad, stupid jokes called dead baby jokes. Some of you are probably familiar with them. Lines like, what do you get when you put a baby in the blender? Then that has never been funny to me. I find it disgusting. But it was acceptable in the high school lunchroom at Lincoln High School at the time. Now, another reason why I'm strongly against the firing of James Gunn is that this sets a fascist cultural speech standard, a standard that the left has been pushing for decades, and most recently has made the life of people on the right and even the center miserable and impossible. The Constitution declares that we all have a right to free speech. These rights aren't given by the government. These rights are divinely innate in each and every one of us. They are given it to us by God. So instead, for all of us trying to foster a Marxist, McCarthy-style culture of speech, perhaps let's turn back to our foundation and try to push for freer speech so that people don't have to censor their thoughts and be honest. Would you rather have someone lie to your face because they know what they're going to say is politically incorrect? Or would you rather have them be honest with you and tell them what they believe? Thankfully, at least in the case of James Gunn, it looks like it may be a real possibility that Gunn will get his job back. Most of the main cast of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies have come out in support, as have big online petitions, which I encourage you to sign, and I will leave a link to in my outline. Now, my support for free speech and support for James Gunn isn't based that I think James Gunn's tweets were okay or funny. They were not. They are not. They are gross. But you also need to keep in mind the classic quote from the philosopher Aristotle that said, quote, "No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness." Now, let's move away from such a serious, salty topic and move to something much more fun and much more woke. Yes, last week was Comic-Con, and I covered about the story about how they're going to make a Batwoman solo series on the CW, including social justice pandering, lesbianism, and red lipstick. I'm sure there'll be plenty of red lipstick. That wasn't said in the article, but Kat Kane, she always got the big red lipstick. So as to not be outdone, the cast and crew of Supergirl thought, what? No, they can't be more woke than us. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I know. Let's have the first transgender superhero. Now, some of you are thinking that CW maybe needs to refocus its efforts because that first season of Flash was awesome. And Flash has never really returned to being that good. All the superhero CW shows just seem to be soap operas wrapped in a superhero costume. And I know I'm not alone in feeling like this. My whole family used to watch the CW shows together once a week when they came out. This was when Flash first came out. So we'd watch Arrow together, and then we'd watch Flash together. And then when Supergirl came out, I would watch that too. But it quickly became apparent, watching the CW superhero shows, by season 3, that they were way more concerned about the relationship dynamics, who was dating who kissed who was dead, who just came back from being dead. Would she, wouldn't she, all that kind of garbage that superhero fans like me do not care for. Now, to top off this wonderful, lovely spring cake, the CW shows us say, you know what, I know what can do. I know what we can do to make the fans really happy. What we really need to do, guys, is we need to add more politics. Yes, that's right, politics. That's what people come here to watch superhero shows for. They come here to escape to politics. I mean, guys, the real world sucks so much, and I just kind of want to unwind and watch a show about Supergirl, and I don't Oh, wait, no, I don't want any politics. No, I don't want politics in my Supergirl. It is really unnecessary to have gay storylines and to teach us the values of proper mansplaining etiquette. But Supergirl feels that it can't be unwoken. Unwoken? Is that what you call when another show is more woke than you? Rewoken? Unwoken? Super woke? I don't know. You decide. Whatever the proper term is, Supergirl will not be outwoken. Batwoman will not take Supergirl's mantle. Supergirl will be the most woke superhero show this side of Krypton. For proof, I bring to you this lovely story. Quote, TV gets its first transgender superhero. Now, when I watch superhero movies, I was thinking to myself, I would really love this movie, but there aren't any transgender characters. If there were only transgender characters, I would love this. That is, until today. Yes, Supergirl is introducing the very first transgender superhero. Now, some of you may be asking, what transgender superhero? I don't remember hearing about this. Us nerds, I don't recall hearing a transgender superhero, at least not any major one. And you would be correct in that feeling. For the most part, there really aren't. So, especially in DC. So, they took a perfectly ordinary, obscure superheroine, and turned her trans. I'm just going to read you guys the article, and you can enjoy it from there, okay? All right. This is from HuffPo. Nicole Maines joins Supergirl as TV's first transgender superhero. The transgender activist will play the character Nia Now for the CW's show's 4th season. The CW Supergirl will be introducing TV's first ever transgender superhero in the upcoming 4th season, the show announced during its San Diego Comic-Con panel Saturday. Transgender actress Nicole Maines will play the character Nia Now, likely a version of the DC Comics character Nura Now, a humanoid alien also known as Dream Girl, who can see into the future. Quote, "It feels fitting to say, with great power comes great responsibility," unquote. Oh, that's painful. Maines told Variety, "I'm nervous because I want to do it right," unquote. Maines was featured on the HBO documentary The Trans List and has been an activist for transgender rights. Supergirl starts back up October 14th, but the big question is, will Nia Now have the power to recognize Supergirl when the title character has her glasses on? So yes, you heard that right. Supergirl is going to introduce a trans superhero. And this trans superhero isn't going to be played by not just any actor, as we learned with poor redhead Black Widow last week. No, they actually got a trans man who became a woman to play the role. Not just even an actress, but an activist. Maines became a household name among transgender advocates back during Doe versus Clenchy, in which he and his family, this is back then, sued the school district for barring him from using the girls' bathroom. This is back in 2014. The Maine Supreme Court determined that young Maines had been discriminated against the Human Rights Act, and the school district was forced to pay $75,000 to his family. I just read that last paragraph from the Daily Wire in case any of you are curious at home. And I really do feel sorry for Nura Now, Dream Girl. Nura Now is a character from the Legion of Superheroes, which is kind of like this way far in the future in the DC universe where the teenagers make up the large law enforcement and they fly around and they all have weird powers. And one of those characters is Nura Now, called Dream Girl, and she was just, she's not a great character. Her only power, really, was be able to see in dreams things before they happen, but these things were never all that accurate. Like, they had this giant setup that she saw the Legion of Superheroes all being murdered, and so this was a long plot line. Oh, I saw in this dream they're all going to be murdered. My dreams always come true. Oh, no! You know what really happened? You know what happened? It turns out that really, the people that were killed, they were android doubles. they weren't even the real Legion of Superheroes. They were exact android doubles. So, not really great comic book writing on their part, usually with Legion superheroes. So I guess if they have to use any character and turn them trans, Dream Girl isn't the worst. Although, the name of her character is Dream Girl. But whatevs, I don't care all that much. I don't watch Supergirl anymore. The show killed its interest off with my family because they forced a strong very, very strong lesbian romance in the show. And then to top it all off, this last season, they decided that because we live in the era of Trump, Supergirl has to go full politics mode. No stone can be left untouched. No policy can be left unspoken. Supergirl must cover it all. So for a show that worries so much about the subject of mansplaining, they decided to mansplain to everyone about gun control, which it's an awesome story. I probably should just give you a highlight of it. Basically, in this story, it's an anti-gun control story featuring the leader of their secret agency, who is in reality, Martian Manhunter. You know, a guy with the name Martian Manhunter. He is the one that explains to us that guns are evil. And so their agency, which is supposed to be kind of like the CIA group, but only does alien stuff, he eventually in it decides that they're not going to have guns anymore. Now, John Jones and Supergirl are the only people on their team that have superpowers, but that doesn't seem to bug them, taking away firearms from the rest of the team. Anyhow, it's really bad. I mean, it's painfully bad. That episode is one of the worst pieces of gun control propaganda of any kind, really, that I've seen in a long time. And I mean, I recommend you guys just watching it and showing your kids, like, you guys want to know what propaganda looks like. Here you go. But none of what I've talked about today matters as much as what was said back in 2015.
I saw that there's a Supergirl is on TV. I saw it when I was working out this morning. There's an ad promoting Supergirl. She looked pretty hot.
Yes, that was Jeb Bush reminding us all that the actress that plays Supergirl is kind of hot. Now, usually when I do my segments, I like to do serious, funny, serious, funny, serious, funny, or flip it around. We start with the funny, then we go the serious. Today, I'm going to go sandwich mode and go serious, funny, funny, serious, just to mix it up. And today, I'm talking about my new favorite news story that I've read this week. This particular version of the article I'm going to take from the Telegraph, and here's the headline. Dogs go out of their way to help upset owners study fines. And this is just an awesome story. I'll just read the first couple paragraphs, okay? Dogs will make a speedy effort to comfort their owners if they think they are upset, a study has shown for the first time. Wait. We have to do this with a British accent. Okay, here we go. Okay, hold on. Okay. Sleeping time. Dogs will make a speedy effort to comfort their owners if they think they are upset, the study has shown for the first time. Although anecdotally, dog owners claim that their pets are in tune with their emotions and will offer support in times of crisis, it has never been scientifically tested before. A new study, scientists from Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, United States, took 34 dogs and positioned them behind a door which was closed with magnets with their owners on the other side. They found that many of the dogs nosed their way through the door, but did it 3 times more. And then that's it. I can't go. It says register for free to read this article or log into your Telegraph account. I hope you guys enjoyed my accent taken from the great artist known as Dick Van Dyke. Here's a sample of his amazing talent. Okay, there you go. That's my paragon of British culture. That's the only accent I can do. Anything else is just awful. Okay, so let's back it up to the actual story. Basically, the story showed that they have proof that dogs know their owners' emotions and know when their owners are upset. And if they know their owners are upset, they go there and try to comfort them. And this is true of anyone that's owned a dog, particularly a dog that's very loving, affectionate. I mean, this is true of my dog. I have pancreatitis. I do not have pain medicine because of Jeff Sessions, the DEA, the CDC, the FDA, the crackdown in our culture right now on people like me, which is making our life hell. Well, I'm always in chronic pain. Such awful pain. 90% of the time, I am suffering gravely. And my dog knows that. And so my dog, Admiral Snugglebear, who is my best friend in the world, she won't hardly leave my side anymore. Since March, when I got off my meds, pretty much my dog wants to be next to me 24/7. She's constantly trying to comfort me, lean next to me, spend time with me. She'll try to lick my hands. She shows her cute little tail, and just, it's wonderful. wonderful to me. Right now in my life, my dog, Admiral Snugglebear, really is a service animal, really is a comfort animal to me. So I know this is true. I know when I'm at my saddest and my hardest, my dog has been there for me. And this isn't true of my current, this isn't just true of my current dog, but other dogs I've had. I mean, dogs are beautiful, beautiful creatures. They evolved with man over millions of years, tens of thousands of years, we know for a fact, at least. So they're in tune with us at a level that we're not sure. We evolved with them. Dogs are, in a way, a part of humanity. And I love them. And this study that proves that dogs can read us is awesome. If you ever get the chance to meet my dog, Admiral Snugglebear, you will think she is awesome too. I did not name her. When my last dog passed away from a really bizarre accident, I'm still not sure what happened there. We got a new dog, but some family members were against it for whatever reason. So my mom said, okay, honey, we'll all get to name this dog. So we had a family council, I guess we call it, where we all kind of give our ideas. And my mom wouldn't just go with one idea, so we ended up using some of everyone's ideas. So we got Admiral Snugglebear, which is a great name for a great dog. She's awesome. She's a half Bichon, half Shih Tzu. I like to think of her as a Zushan, or sometimes you'll read their teddy bear breed. She has a lazy eye. She has on one of her back feet an extra toe. She's so awesome. I love this dog. Oh, she makes me laugh all the time. And you know, this dog article got me started on all the dog articles on the internet. So I'm just going to read a few more. I have this picture of this article also with the Telegraph. It has John Lennon having a dog lick his face. It says, dogs are happier listening to soft rock and reggae. Study finds. I'll read the first. It might be supposed the dogs like Bach, but a new study suggests that they prefer something with a little bit more bite. Yeah, this was from the University of Glasgow, and they say that dogs are happier listening to soft rock or reggae. They showed in a study that reggae music and soft rock were found to provoke the most positive changes in behavior, and the animal charity is now planning to install sound systems in all its kennels to play Bob Marley and John Bon Jovi to their unsuspecting charges. This is such a weird story. Of course, then they have pictures of people singing. I got a Bob Marley picture here. It's so crazy. This is a weird story. So this is another one I included in the outline. Then it led me to this story. It says, 4 tips for dining out with your dogs. I was like, okay, so here are the tips for dining out with your dogs. I can really only do this at home. In Sioux Falls, South Dakota, this isn't really a place where you take your dog to lunch with you. This should be a thing. If you're listening and you live in Sioux Falls, this needs to be a thing. Make it happen now. Anyhow, here is what they said. They said, their first tip is know your dog. So you need to know what your dog's comfortable with. Dogs who are fearful of other dogs, strangers, loud noises, crowds shouldn't be brought to restaurants unless they're properly socialized. That makes sense, right? So you don't want to bring a dog that has a tendency to bark and jump on tables or disrupt other people's meals. The second one is tether your dog, bring a leash. Yeah, this is true. Anytime you bring your dog outside the house, you really are supposed to have them on a leash or a harness or something. I know people across the country like to have their dog walk by their side, but without a leash, but this is illegal. I knew a lady once that she raised dogs for a show. She was awesome. I miss her. And one day she's just walking her dog around the park, and I opened my window to say hi to her. I call her Sister Hurst because she was a member in my ward. Now she's in a different ward. And the dog, when I said hi, the dog came over and jumped through the window into the car. So that was another example of tethering your dog. The third one is check the weather. This is true. I noticed this. If it's too hot to walk the dog, don't do it. Or if you have water with you when you get home, sometimes if it's too hot, I have to put my dog in a bathtub full of cold water. Make sure she's okay. She's very furry right now, so she definitely needs that. And then the last tip is make your dog feel comfortable and secure. That's kind of like the first 3, but whatever. Yeah. That's the article. That was a deep article. Then the next one was Brew Dog Brewery launches beer for dogs so owners can host. And get this, guys, Potties. Yes, Pawties. Potties. Oh, that's awesome. They have a picture of two dogs with glasses of beer in front of them. It's called Brew Dogs. It's from Canal, Winchester, Ohio. It's beer for dogs to help celebrate those special occasions in your pooch's life. The Brew Dog will also provide dog-sized party hats, a dog-friendly cake, and specially brewed dog beer for the celebrant and all attended canines. I can't see it. So the beer is made with boiled carrots and bananas. It's brewed fresh. Here's the thing. I can't look up. Is there alcohol in the beer? That's what I can't figure out. Is this beer like root beer, so there's no beer in it? Or is this actually a liquor? I can't get an answer on that. All right, next dog thing is dog singing Britney Spears' Toxic is the Monday pick-me-up you need. Now, this is disappointing. When I clicked this video, I thought it'd be awesome, but here, I thought we'd be getting a dog singing, "Oh, baby, baby," but no, this is what we get. See, it's a loop. That's it. What is that? There's nothing. That's not even an article. People, you disappoint me. Okay, now I thought, since we're talking about dogs, I thought I'd talk about the weirdest article. So the dog thing led me to Facebook to this article. It is the freaking weirdest thing. So you asked me if people in Hollywood are weird. Here's my proof. The article is called, it's not an article, it's from Entertainment Tonight. It says, "Meet the backbiting masseuse to the stars, Dr. Dot."
We have seen a lot of bizarre things.
A lot.
This might just take the cake. Senior news editor Jennifer Perro sat down with a masseuse who works with some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. But what makes this woman so special? Well, she really sinks her teeth into her massages.
When they hear that I bite people first, that's my appetizer of the whole massage, they're like, "Oh, well, I definitely have to try that." When I massaged Katy Perry, by the way, she wasn't that big. She was walking around all naked in her dressing room, gorgeous. I was like, wow.
Katie, Eva Longoria, Heidi Klum. Dr. Dot says she's seen them all. She's the masseuse who's giving backbiting in Hollywood a whole new meaning. She's been at it for over 30 years now. You could almost say she cut her teeth in the business.
My mom wanted me to massage her all the time, and she thought my hands weren't strong enough when I was like 5, so she said, "Bite me." And I massaged Justin Timberlake.
What was he like?
He was 16 when I massaged him the first time. He was with NSYNC. And I knew out of all those guys, he was going to be the one to make it really big.
What's Kanye West like? Has Kanye West gotten the bite massage?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
He loved it. I did his glutes and everything. He loved it. Are you ready to be tenderized?
I think so.
Okay.
So let's end it there. That was 1 minute, 19 seconds. I'm not sure. That was pushing fair use. So I don't know if you could tell from the audio, but basically, in Hollywood, there's this masseuse they go to. She doesn't just do the normal, typical massage therapy thing with the hands and the glutes and the back and whatever. She bites people. Now, she doesn't bite to draw blood. She, like kind of like a dog when they pick up a baby dog. They kind of pick them by the scruff and they don't bite down enough to draw blood. This is what she's doing. And the video is bizarre. You ask if people in Hollywood are weird. This is the proof. And all the people that got, they got Kanye West, got Katy Perry, they got some other celebrity dude from NSYNC. I don't know. I'm drawing blanks. Yeah, crazy. That is just the weirdest thing. Part of me, no, I don't want to try it. I would like a massage though. Massage therapist. I have a person I know from my church became a massage therapist. Interesting job. One of the hosts of the Sioux Empire podcast, the proper one, with Robert Mehling, Natasha Estes. I believe she is a masseuse therapist. I think she told me something like she hates doing feet. Anyhow. Yeah, so there's my last of this dog bit. It was pretty long. I thought it was pretty fun. That is just the weirdest thing. You know, I was joking with my mom. Maybe we could send Snuggleberry to trade school. Teach her to do this. She could be a massage therapist. She'd be a real service dog. What do you guys think?
Dr. Dot claims her trademark technique stimulates blood flow, but there is one time she might have bitten off more than she could chew.
What was it like giving Mariah Carey a massage?
Based in New Jersey, Dot sessions start at $150 an hour, nibbles included.
I have
Yeah, there we go. I thought I'd play that last bit. It's just so weird. Now, for this last segment, I wasn't really sure. I should say my last serious segment. I have a bonus I'm going to share with you guys afterwards. I wasn't sure what I was going to choose to talk about. There's so much I could talk about. I could talk about the Butina stuff some more and how silly the Argus leader is. I could talk about my GOP adventure last month and what's going on with the caucuses. But I felt those stuff are kind of on the local. And I already talked about the Butina. And there's not a lot more to talk about there. So I thought I'd answer a query that I happened to see on Facebook this afternoon. And I provided a sample of the Facebook post on the outline. I did not include the guy's identity that said it. So there shouldn't be a problem there. But basically, here's what he said. It had a picture on it of one of these Trump chicken floats, but this time it's near Alcatraz Island instead of the big one they had of the Trump baby when Trump was in the UK. Similar deal. And here's the post. It says, I just don't know how he keeps his support. Chicken butt, pervert, pathological liar, bankrupt 6 times. Into Russian pockets, praises dictators, and pretty much the laughingstock of the world as we become a less safe nation. I honestly don't get it. Now, he didn't say chicken butt. I said chicken butt because I don't want to curse. This is a family show, people. Anyhow, I usually try to do better, but sometimes I just get so frustrated with people. So I really I didn't want to chew this guy out like, oh, you're a Trump hater. You hate Trump. Trump's the best. Yeah, you're Trump. I want him to have my babies. No, I wasn't going to do that. I'm not a Trumpian or whatever you want to call me. In fact, back in the past, I was a never Trumper. True, I was never Trumper. I did not vote for Trump. I don't know. Sometimes I regret that. Sometimes I don't. Here's what I said in my response. He says, Peter Pischke says, he keeps his support because of junk like this. And I'm referring to the picture. Simple. It's tribalism. Every time someone looks to the other side, aka the left, they see stuff like this. And they feel that Trump is being more reasonable, and thus he needs to be defended. You put crazy versus Trump, and the right are going to choose Trump every single time. Right or wrong, this is just how it is. Now, I would say that this isn't just the right. I would say the public in general are feeling this way. And I am backing this idea up with evidence. I think the success of Trump that Trump is having has to do with 2 key factors. 1, the economy is doing relatively okay. We have low unemployment numbers. And 2, every time they might look to someone else, they just see a wall of crazy. Unbelievable, loony bin, kind of crazy. And they're like, wow, I thought Trump was bad, but then I saw you guys. You guys make Trump look the sanest guy. I mean, you make Trump look like, where's your name? Where's your neighbor? What's his name? The neighborhood, coming in down the neighborhood. Trump is reasonable compared to some of the crazy stuff that they keep saying about President Trump. But I'm not just going to leave it there. No, I'm going to try to provide you guys with proof of this concept. So we'll start with a good old friend of mine, Mr. David Hogg. David Hogg, as you know, is the leader of March for Our Lives. He's the one that accused Mark Rubio as being complicit in the murder of his fellow students. I mean, this guy... So you can tell that I'm not a fan of Mr. David Hogg. David Hogg is one of these people that when we want to look at the other side, in this case, if you want to look, well, I like the idea of gun control, they come over, they look at March for Our Lives, they look at David Hogg, and they see this. They say, here's his tweet, to U.S. President Trump, never ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences the like of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. We are no longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious. Now, to be honest, that was a little tad threat-like. I tried to figure out what the heck he's talking about. When did the president ever threaten the United States? He never threatened the United States. He threatened Iran recently, but that was not the United States. So I don't know what the Philip Hogg is talking about, but this is just another example. Like I told you, Hogg has gone his way and painting people who support the Second Amendment as evil. Mark Rubio was one of these people that was trying to find a reasonable, middle ground maybe on the gun control issue. That wasn't enough. They said, oh, Mark Rubio, he's getting paid by the NRA. How many dollars does the NRA give Mark Rubio for every gun death? is, acting very mature like David Hogg. Providing great evidence of your ideas. No, we're just going to push hard on the debate, try to amp things up and make people angry. Let's see what happens when we get them angry. David Hogg is a big reason why I had my counter protest earlier this year. It's because we have to stand up not just for the Second Amendment and our divinely given rights, but also we have to stand up for the idea that we can dissent and have different ideas. You aren't evil if you disagree with David Hogg. And David Hogg isn't evil because he disagrees with me. We are allowed to have different ideas and still at the end of the day say good things about each other, shake hands, and go to dinner. We do not have to treat each other as the devil. Liberals and conservatives can marry and date each other. Well, they revert that other order if they want. I mean, we can be friends. I don't understand this idea that we have to hate each other if we don't see things the exact same way. That's why we made Happy Warrior in the first place. This podcast is not just supposed to be a conservative politics talk show, but also about trying to make things fun again and connect with the other side. Let's heal this divide, people. Now, there's a lot that I just don't like about Donald Trump, and tariffs are probably the greatest example. I am a free economics guy, laissez-faire to the max. I believe in the works of Adam Smith. I believe that the visible hand is the hand of God, and that free enterprise between consenting individuals is amazing. It's beautiful. It creates the most incredible things. How do these markets where millions of transactions and discussions happen all at the same time, and yet economies move and people get jobs and families are made and livings and wages and businesses, and it's just incredible. I love it. Tariffs are the antithesis of that. Tariffs just hurt everyone. They hurt the country it's aimed at, but more importantly, they hurt the country the tariff is from. And Trump came out and tweet said, tariffs are the greatest. Either a country which has treated the United States unfairly trade negotiates a fair deal, or it gets hit with tariffs. It's as simple as that. And everybody's talking. Remember, we are the piggy bank that's being robbed. All will be great. So basically he's saying tariffs are awesome. Now, if it really was true that we made these tariffs and it would force the other side to lower their tariffs, I'd be all for it. But that's not what happens because politicians are freaking idiots. And when they see this, they want to tell their people that we're not cowards. You know what? America puts a tariff. We're going to put a tariff on America. That's what we're going to do. And so what we get is a trade war. A trade war is what caused the Great Depression. It was President Hoover pushing tariffs that caused the Great Depression. The economy was kind of weltering. It was during the beginning of the 1920s that Coolidge cut the government spending by 80%. This healed the economy enough that we had the Roaring 20s. Well, Hoover gets in. Hoover is not a free economics guy like Calvin Coolidge was. Hoover thinks the government can solve your problems. This was kind of a relatively new idea when the progressive was able to get a hold. Woodrow Wilson had gotten it earlier, and he was the first big bad of the progressive left. But now Hoover he believed in a lot of these ideas. He wanted to push it. Tariffs was his way to do it. And that pushed our economy into the Great Depression. And I could go on. FDR took Great Depression, extended it by 10 years, blah, 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 blah. But tariffs are not good. That's the end truth. Tariffs just aren't good. Doesn't matter if you're an economist on the left or the right. They all agree tariffs suck butt. They're awful. So then why are people still supporting President Trump on the economy? Why? I mean, South Dakota, the farmers complain. I think, partially the tariffs are hurting farmers in the way that it's hard to get their goods out. And that way they're right. But the farmers are also kind of mad because they don't get all the ethanol subsidies that they would like. Big agriculture around here has a big political push. So our senators and our representatives, and I'm not going to say why they did. That's unfair to me. But for whatever reason, they came out and they pushed against these tariffs. Which, I agree with. But it has no dent. It will not move the Republicans hardly at all. Now, will we see in a couple of years if our economy does worse and people might catch on the tariff spread? Maybe. I have my doubts. But maybe. But why is this? Why is it that Republicans will not come out and say, tariffs are bad, 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 bad? You want to know why? It's because of tribalism. It's because the left keeps hitting this button of crazy. So we always feel we have to defend Donald Trump's ideas. I mean, you guys see this on Facebook all the time, talking about the pedophile, traitor, blah, 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 blah that Donald Trump is. The Denver Post just ran a letter to the editor suggesting that Trump should be executed. In no universe should the letter to the editor people allowed this to be published. But they did. And it argues that Donald Trump is a traitor and should be executed. Holy flip! They say he's as bad as Ethel and Julius Rosenberg, who sold the secrets of the atomic bomb to the Soviets. I shouldn't say sold. They gave it to them. They stole it. And they were executed for that because they were really traitors, like in the true sense of the word. No, Donald Trump should not be executed. That's monstrous. That's deplorable. But the Denver Post pushed it because the people of the Denver Post are open to those ideas because they hate Trump. Ergo, anyone else that hates Trump, their opinion is okay. And if you guys think I'm making this idea up, no. So the MRC, which is the Media Research Center, I love these guys. They have the Media Research Center does serious media research, but they have kind of an arm that's a bit more silly, a bit more news of the day kind of stuff. And they came out with this article that says, "Study TV's war against Trump's immigration enforcement agenda." It shows that during the 18 months of the Trump presidency, immigration has received more airtime on the three broadcast evening news networks, so NBC, CBS, ABC, than any other policy topics. They have been hostile to the administration. 92% of all immigration stories on the big three were negative. Only 8% were positive. These newscasts almost unanimously framed nearly all their coverage around the plight of those adversely affected by the administration's enforcement agenda and virtually ignored law enforcement or anyone harmed by illegal immigration. For proof, they examined from January 20, 2017 to June 30th, 2018. They spent a combined 995 minutes discussing various immigration topics, or roughly 1/6 of all coverage of the administration. Since Inauguration Day, the only thing that's received more, that's political, more topic, is, you guessed it, Russia, which received astounding 1,680 minutes. Holy buckets, that's so much. You look at this, you put this against North Korea, which only got 719 minutes of airtime. That's not hours, that's minutes. Even in June, when the evening newscast voted very heavy coverage of North Korea, and the June 12th summit, the historic one, they spent nearly twice the airtime of that on the administration's zero-tolerance policy and the resulting separations of illegal immigrant parents and their children. And, I mean, that's extreme, guys! Now, that kind of junk has been going on for a long time now, but because of the internet and because I think people have finally started standing up for themselves when we get screwed over by the media, sorry about my language, when we get shoveled by the media, we're finally saying, no, we don't like it, no. And that's why Trump got elected. Trump was willing to be the big bad for our side. We were sick of getting pushed over and shoved around by the media. You know, media as in news media as in entertainment, media as in celebrities and music. We were tired of it. So we voted and chose Trump because he was willing to say the crazy things that we wanted to be said but never did get said. I mean, Ted Cruz was my man, and I loved him because on policy and debates, he was just a better candidate. But people chose Trump because Trump seemed like someone that would stand up to the agenda of the left, not just in politics, but on culture. I mean, on MSNBC, Maddow came out recently and said that Trump is really a foreign agent. This is a big idea being pushed on the left that Trump, he's been planned for a very long time. This is an idea called the Manchurian Candidate, which is a book and then a couple of movies. But the book is actually on the idea that in Japan, when Japan conquered an area of China called, well, they named it Manchuria, they got the last Chinese emperor to rule it as a figurehead. Now, he was a puppet. He couldn't do anything the Japanese didn't want. But so it made this term called a Manchurian Candidate. The Manchurian Candidate is this idea that you have a candidate that's sympathetic to a cause, but hides it. And they could be like a Russian agent. And so you say, well, President Trump back in the day, he loved Russia. You know, he got his military orders from Russia. Okay, he does what Russia wants. He dances to the tune of Putin. Putin has the hand and his puppet. This idea is freaking nuts. There's nothing to prove it. Nothing. There is no proof on this idea at all, but it's what's being pushed right now. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I didn't like Obama, but I never in a million years would I have said that President Obama was a puppet of a foreign government. I mean, that's just nuts. I mean, really, guys, how can we ever come together if you're willing to tell that the people on our side really are just foreign enemies of the state? I mean, how can we ever come together if you're saying that everyone on our side, our top guys, are traitors to the country? That makes it impossible for us to come together on any issue. On top of this hysteria about Trump, we even have people like Maxine Waters who are trying to ratchet up the anger and the vitriol of their supporters. We had one where Maxine Waters, she got a group together. She was trying to start a fight with people on the right. Well, thank you to this group of people on the right didn't show up. So Maxine Waters' group, they go crazy. In Maxine Waters' group, they decided to go over and burn an American flag. People are saying that this was just a black power thing. The group that they wanted to get involved with was the Oath Keepers, by the way. I don't know anything about this group other than they're on the right. And, they didn't show up. Maxine Waters is one of these people that has been ratcheting up the dialogue to the max, as far as she can. Now, thankfully, Maxine Waters just came out, I think it was yesterday, and said that it was wrong to burn the flag. Oh, so at least a little bit of sanity from Waters, but that's pretty rare. Now, like I said, it isn't just news media and politicians. And most importantly, this day and age of the American idiots that most of us are, what do we know? So we don't know anything about our government. We don't know who's the mayor, the governor, our representatives, senators. We don't know anything about them. I think most of us have no idea what the three branches of government even are. But we know what we do know. We know our Harry Potter books. Like, we know them down. We know our Marvel movies. We know our comic books and our Star Wars. We know our culture. But we don't know anything about what really matters. And this is an important lesson I think people on the right need to embrace more and fight back on, is getting us hold on the culture and not just letting the left take it over. Again, this is an example I'm going to share with you. How can we ever come together when they want to do this? Here is actor Johnny Depp in his Grindelwald costume for the new Harry Potter movie. He came out and he did a speech based on a Trump speech, but he messed with the language so it was sounding kind of Hitler-esque in his Grindelwald accent. Here, I'm going to play a small clip of it. It's kind of hard to hear, so I'll turn up the volume if I can, but hopefully you guys get a taste of what he's saying.
He describes it to those who live for high things. Oh, what a world we would make for all of humanity. All of humanity, we who live for freedom, for truth. The moment has come to rise up and take our rightful place in the world.
Now, you may not realize it, but that was actually a mess of the State of the Union, the part about freedom. That was Trump. And they did it on purpose. Another actor talked about if she had a magic spell, she would get one that would impeach Trump. It was like, Maximus impeaches! And this was an idea several of the cast of the new Harry Potter movie said. This is a Harry Potter movie, guys, but that doesn't seem to care to them because they want to make this political. This is a movie that is largely played by British actors. I know it takes place in America, sort of. But I mean, come on, guys. This is just silly. It's supposed to take place like in the 1940s. It has nothing to do with Trump. And this is what's been going on Twitter. They call it the hashtag resistance spell, Impeachius Maximus. And that's just, this is perfect. Jacob Hall had this tweet. He said, Fantastic Beasts cast said they use real-life magic to impeach Trump. Joke about impeachment spells. Guy behind me is P-I-S-S-E-D. Quote, they had to ruin it. That sums it up completely to me. I'm with that guy. This is what they do. They ruin things. That's what they wanted to do with Star Wars. This last Star Wars movie, it felt like they were so much more concerned about politics than telling a good story. And they try to divide us. And, it's just awful. It's awful. I hate it when media does this. Now, I could go on. I had a couple other stories. Like, Camilla and Michelle Wolf, who Netflix has hired for a whole series, came out with this video that compares ICE to ISIS. It's supposed to be a mock recruitment video. It gets the Netflix symbol on it, guys. So this is official Netflix stuff. It's awful. It's gross. And then there was a candidate, and I think this person is really brave. There are a few Democrats who are brave, that believe that if we go the Ocasio-Cortez way, our party's going to lose. We need to ratchet down the rhetoric. We need to try to back up our policies with evidence and perhaps bring us back to center left. But this idea is crazy. Nancy Pelosi is being treated as too far to the right. That is a crazy idea. So here is Anna Kirkpatrick, who got booed and heckled 5 times at a debate. She is a Democrat candidate that showed support for the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. In case you want to know, she's in Arizona, a red state. She's running for the state's 2nd congressional district. It would make sense to try to get someone that's more center in a red state, because this is a red state. This ain't blue state. This is a red state. So you want people who appeal not just to Democrats, but to Republicans if you want to have a chance of winning it. But so here's what happened. I'll just play the clip. It's about a minute long. I don't know if we'll do the whole thing, but here, take a listen.
I just want to be really clear. If you would have declared your support for ICE agents without any increased oversight. Okay. Would you have supported Democratic leadership in condemning Ms. Waters' comments?
She's raising her hand, by the way. She's saying I support.
That's the question.
She's being heckled.
Wasn't it? You're mongering and asking her. Please let me finish. When John Roll was killed.
Yup, see, she's getting heckled. They're not allowing her to talk.
Okay, so, Mary.
See, even one of the candidates is clapping with the crowd against this lady. She's saying she's Rush Limbaugh. All right, let's end that clip there. So this is crazy that I think, by the way, it's disgusting that one of the candidates is clapping for booing and heckling. That's just wrong. Where's the candor? Where's the respect? Where's the politeness? I mean, what is that? That makes me sick. Really, come on. We need to try to be better people. Debates are about reason and using the mind. They aren't supposed to be this emotional parade. It's frustrating. Anyhow, I guess I could do a story now about how that 0 Democrats have met with Brett Kavanaugh yet. I could do this last story. Here's the last one. Here's my last serious story for the day. Despite everything we've said, Trump is at with his approval numbers at an all-time high for him. He's at a 50 now. Right now, his approval rating is at 45%, which is higher than Obama at the same time. When it comes to economy, he hits 50% approval straight and only gets a 34% disapproval. 88% of Republicans support him. 88%. This is more than any time in George W. Bush's presidency, including after 9/11. But here's the crazy part. 80% of Democrats strongly disapprove of the president's job. So it's starkly divided with the Democrats hating the president and the Republicans loving the president. And you want to know why? It's because everything I just covered the last 20 minutes. The wall of crazy pushes the tribalism buttons, makes us want to defend President Donald Trump. Doesn't matter what he's doing. Doesn't matter what he's doing. We feel like we have to protect him. We have to protect the tribe. You want to know why it is the way it is with Trump's support? That's it. Leftists, here is my advice and hint. If you want us Republicans to support you and your ideas, you've got to give us a bone. You've got to give us a break. You cannot come out with calling our people traitors and monsters. You do that, we will stop listening to you. We will blow you off. We won't buy your stuff. Okay, people are beginning to learn that we're not just going to give you your support willy-nilly. We're going to push back. And if you don't want us to push back, and if you want us to take you for a reasonable person, you have got to give us a chance. Thank you. All right, let's end this now with 2 more things. One silly, one serious, but like serious in a happy, feel-good way, not serious as in politics. So my first thing, maybe I was Ben Shapiro, things I love and things I hate. Today, the things I love. Massachusetts man was arrested Sunday for stripping at the front desk of a gym and exercising in the nude. It was a Planet Fitness. He says he was there because it was a judgment-free zone, per their advertising slogan. I love it! Guys, it says judgment-free zone, okay? He walked in, stripped down right there in front, left the clothes belongings at the front desk, walked back and forth, crossed the gym a couple times, and settled in over at the yoga mats. The gym was fairly crowded. When officers made the arrest, some of the comments some witnesses gave where they felt really uncomfortable, disgusted, sick, and unsafe. There were more witnesses coming forward than we could take names. When they found him, he was in yoga-type pose, and he walked back and forth. He walked back and forth in front of the officers. I know, I don't think they're going to let that guy come back to the Planet Fitness. That's awesome. I love that story. I almost love it as much as the dog story. Oh, it's great. All right, so the last thing I want to talk to you about, I said in the beginning of this program that tomorrow I'm going to a family reunion. It is the 50th anniversary of my grandparents' wedding anniversary. My grandpa and grandma Hendrickson. My grandpa and grandma Hendrickson, I think of them as just as much as being my parents that my mom is. They have been more parents to me than my dad has. When the divorce happened, you know, I've talked a little bit about the stuff I had as a kid. I don't want to get into it in case my dad is listening. That's water under the bridge, but it kind of left my mom, who was single and had to work a lot as a nurse, and my grandparents to raise me. My grandpa and grandma Hendrickson mean the world to me. I love them more than I can say. My grandma Hendrickson is the smartest woman and person that I've ever met. She's so wise and open-minded, and she's always encouraged me and talked to me about what's going on in the world. And I wouldn't be half the person that I am today without her engagement and wisdom and patience. My grandpa Hendrickson is one of my heroes. He served honorably in the Air Force for decades. He was an officer. He was in the Missile Man program here in South Dakota, and that's when he was done with his time in the Air Force. They felt that they loved South Dakota, and so they would live here. 50 years ago, my grandparents were just in a small town of Audubon, Iowa. My grandpa came from a teacher. He was a teacher in the high school. My grandma came from a farm family. 50 years ago tomorrow, they got married. They had 7 kids. I love my family dearly. My life wouldn't be half as blessed without them and the choices that they made. I don't know if they'll listen to this, but I want them to know that they mean so much to me. How grateful I am to be part of this family. How grateful I am to have them for my grandparents. How much I dearly love them. And this is why I told you earlier that the legacies we leave behind are in our families. Work can seem important, and sometimes legacies of people do stay behind, but that's the rare occurrence. Often even great things are lost in the mist of history, but what does last, what does count, is how we treat our families and how we live as people. That's our heritage. That's our legacy. So I encourage all of you that if you want one day lots and lots of people to talk about how wonderful you were, to remember the good works you did, to celebrate your life, please have a family. Find that sweetheart of yours. If you're already married, have kids if you can. If that's the right thing for you, maybe adopt. I don't know your situation, but have a family. Be a part of a family. Love others. Teach others. Set an example for them. I love my grandpa and grandma Pischke, but Grandma Pischke passed away before I can remember her, and Grandpa Pischke passed away when I was 10. So the two people that next to my mom that have had the most influence on my life are my Grandpa Hendrickson and my Grandma Hendrickson. So I dedicate this last of this episode to say thank you to them, how much I love them, and encourage all of you to find someone to love too. Well, this has been the Happy Warrior Podcast. I appreciate you taking your time, everyone, for listening. This was kind of an interesting episode. I got back to the hour-long format. Hopefully I can get another episode out to you on the weekend. I'm trying to make this a twice a week thing and then get an essay somewhere in the middle of the week. That's the goal, but we'll work up to it. I'm getting a little better each time I do this. Thank you for your help. Please tell people to check me out on Facebook. That's Happy Warrior Pete on Facebook.com. Tell people to check out The Happy Warrior. Share the podcast everywhere. Push it on people, even when they don't want it. Tell people in the grocery store to watch and listen to The Happy Warrior. God bless America. God bless all those troops that keep us safe. And God bless you. Thank you for your time. Goodbye. This is to you, my wonderful friends, family, and especially my grandparents. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her with the light from the life up above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you for listening. The Happy Warrior Podcast, hosted by Peter Vaughn Pischke, produced by Robert Mehling, a production of the Sioux Empire Podcast Network. Learn more at happy-warrior.net.
A production of the SiouxEmpire.com.